Good morning, greetings. Welcome to Yahweh Chapel of Truth. I would like to just start off to thank you all for coming to Yahweh Chapel of Truth online sermon. Our sermon for today is called Struggle Never Lasts. But I'm going to read from the Quran right now. And what it says in the Quran, it says, let's see. It says, under the law instituted by Yahweh, when wicked reaches a certain stage of rebelliousness and defiance, it is left to gather mementos and to rush with fury to its own destruction. So that's just letting you know that when people was out here qualifying, thinking that they qualifying, that they doing evil, that they just rushing themselves into their own destiny of destruction. And then it says here, it said it is given a certain amount of respite as a last chance, but failing repentance, its numbers are days. It means that you out here sinning, and you have a number of days to get your act together. Then it says here, the godly, therefore, should not worry themselves over apparently worldly success of the evil. So it's telling us, because you see other people succeeding in life, don't trouble yourself because they succeeding in a way that's not legal or maybe illegal, but they succeeding and they're making and they're getting all the things that they want to get. God is telling you not to worry about them because he has something even greater for you that he has in store in heaven for you. So you need to think about yourself. Then it says, but get on his own duties in a spirit of trusting in Yahweh. And that's what this sermon is about today. It's about trusting Yahweh. There are times in our life, like Mary, like Margaret and Mary in the Bible. And they were saying to God, where were you? That's what they were saying to the Lord. Where were you? And if you would have been here, none of this painful stuff that they was going through would have never happened if he was there. That's what they were saying. And then it says here, Lord, I know that you really care about your people. That's what I'm saying to you, that I know that Yahweh cares about you and that I'm serving a notice to everyone that God is a hard person to understand. And it can be very confusing trying to understand God because sometimes you think that God has got you going waiting and all of a sudden he make a U-turn in your life. So you really can't say that God don't care. God is coming, but he's coming at his own time, not at your time. And then I want to go to Deuteronomy 29:29. Now I brought my tablet here with me. Let's see. And we're going to go here. And I want you to see what God is talking about. You know, God is really talking to his people. And we're going to go there. Okay, let's see. Doutomy, Deuteronomy. Let's see, what's that? 29:29. 29:29. And the subject that I wanted to talk about here is it right here, demonology. It says this right here. It says demonology 29:29. The secret things belonging to the Lord are God, but the things revealed belonging to us, to our children, forever may we follow all the words of the law. So God is telling his people, you know, and it's got like different versions of it, you know, each version of the different Bibles and NIV, different versions of it, but all the versions are saying the same thing. So let's go into the Bible right now. I wanted to read, I know I brought everything over here. Here it is. I want to read something in here about trusting God. Let's read Psalms 37. That's a good one there. Let's go to Psalms 37. Okay, here we go. Psalms 37. 37, it says, because we was talking about the struggles in life and that they don't last forever. It says, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be envious against the work of the unguilt. So God is telling you, why are you concerned about people doing evil when you should be more concerned about doing God's will and going out there saving his people? Then it says, for ye shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. And then it says, trust. Trust is very important here. It says, trust in the Lord and do good. So thou shalt dwell in the land, and very thou shalt be fed. So God is telling you, don't try to figure out what bad people are doing. He's telling you to stay on the path that he has you on. And then it says right here, there's another part of the Bible that I really enjoyed. It says, delight yourself into the Lord, and he shall give thee the desire of your heart. That is a true statement. If you just trust him. You know, in today's time, with all the bully stuff that's going on in the schools and the young people have to deal with these bullies and stuff. And I don't even know if they have a program, for bullies or not. But these kids have to go through a lot today. And they trust in God. And they have to go to school. Then they have to deal with these bullies. Then they got to try to do their homework. Then they got to go home. And then they might be going into a dysfunctional home. And a lot of times these kids is so tired. They're so tired that they're not holding on to God's hand because society has confused a whole generation of children. Confused those children. Lord have mercy. They have confused them. But let's go on and keep reading Psalms 37. It says rest, and that's important. That word rest means to rest. It says rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. And that's another thing that we do wrong. We don't wait patiently for the Lord. When the Lord said wait for him, he's not saying that, it's going to happen the next moment. It may not happen until 10 years up the road, but he's telling you to be patient and wait on the Lord. It says, fret not thyself because of him who's prospering his way. And that's another mistake that we make. We worried about what other people prospering. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about you doing your kingdom work. And when you're doing your kingdom work and you're bringing people into God's kingdom, you're doing what God has asked you to do and what he has ordained you to do. He has ordained you to go out there and save souls. A lot of times that everybody get things twisted. Not everybody is possessed out there. Some people have actually mental problems and they need to be on medication. There are some people out there, they on different drugs, and these different drugs is controlling their lifestyle and controlling them, and they forget about God. You cannot put God on the back burner. You can't do that. You can't even put your life on the back burner. Your life don't really belong to you. Your life belongs to God. Let's keep on. It says crease from anger. It says crease from anger and forsake worth not thyself, and any wise to do evil. See, that's what I was telling you before when we had talked about these scammers out here. And they out here doing evil, and they messing up people's lives, and they destroying people's lives, and they doing a lot of stuff, but they not thinking about the consequences that's going to happen. There's consequence in life. You have to make choices. Just like Adam and Eve, she made the choice to eat the apple. She gave it to the man, he saw it was good, so he ate the apple. That was the first sin. But God did not stop helping them. No, he did not. Let's go on some more. It says right here, it says, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord will inherit the land. Now, I'm going to be honest with you about this. You will see the evildoer cut off. In my lifetime, I have seen evildoers cut off. You look for them and you couldn't even find them. God is not Mark. He's not Mark. It says this right here. Now listen to this. It says, for a little while, the wicked shall not be. Thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Now you considering his place, and it shall not be. That means that wherever he was at, that you seen him at, he's not there anymore. Then it says here, for the meek shall inherit the earth, and should delight themselves in the abundance of peace. That's what God wants from us. God wants us to be happy. He wants us to be at peace with each other, and he wants us to heal each other. This is what God wants. We all gonna have struggles. Life is about struggles. Life is almost like a roller coaster. Just like marriage. Marriage the same way. It's like a roller coaster. Up, down. You might be down this time. He may be up this time. You know, he may be down, then you'll be up this time. And then you sort of like compromise each other. You know, that's what marriage is about. If the people that want to get married. Now, I'm in the Quran right now. And I'm looking through here because I know that God has a verse for me that he wants me to deliver. And I see it right in front of me right now. It says, what ye come arise from your own ill deeds. See, we just got through talking about the wicked people and their ill deeds. Do you suppose that a man or a woman who comes to warn you and teach you the better way to bring about ill luck upon you? Then it says here, you know, and I'm really looking at this right here. It says to evil. I'm sorry. To call good evil and accuse of falsehood men and women of truth who come unselfishly to bring the message of the beneficial, merciful of Yahweh is the very height of extravagance and trespassing. Wow. Then it says here, as you skip down to the next verse, it says prophets do not seek their own advantage. That means that when prophet is out here and we out here healing and we talking to God's people, we're not looking for something in return. We're not. Because God is working through us to heal his people. So there's not a cost for that. Then it says here, they serve the Lord in humanity. Their hope lies in the pleasure of Yahweh. Who serve, they are devoted. So we are to be devoted servants to God. We're supposed to be devoted servants to God. And a lot of us, we are not devoted servants to God, but some of us are trying. And then sometimes, you know, we ask God this right here. We ask God this right here. You ask God to explain things to you. You know, why is this happening to me? Why is, of all these things, Lord, you have taken everything from me? You know, these are the things that we ask in God. Now, you can ask God a question, okay? You can ask him a question. But he don't have to give you an answer right away. He give you the answer when he's ready to give it to you. And if Yahweh is ready to give you the answer, he's going to give you the answer in his due time, not in your time. You can't question God. That's one thing that you cannot do. You cannot question God. You know, you cannot do that. He's not the type of God that you can question. You have to be obedient to him. And people that's in crises, they question God. The first thing they say when something bad happened, what did I do wrong? You don't have to do anything wrong. Sometimes God take us through some in order for us to build our strength up, to trust him more, and to stop leaning to our own understanding. Then I have down here is that God, you got to understand, God sits up high above everything. He sits up high above everything. And he sits above, he put the stars in the sky. Think about it. He put the stars in the sky and he gave each star a name. the stars will not fall out the heavens, because God has put them in place for them not to move. And when God come into your life and things are, you seem like everything is failing in your life and everything is going bad, that's what Satan wants you to do. He wants you to question God. He wants you to say, but Lord, why is all these bad things happening? Why do I have a dark cloud on me? You're human. We all have a dark cloud on us. But that don't mean that we allow this cloud to engulf our lives. You know, when you make mistakes, you have to learn how to forgive yourself. You really do. You have to learn how to forgive yourself. Now, since we've been talking between the Quran and the Bible, I have shown you that everything that I have turned to, it relates to everything that God has put before me. So now I'm here again, and God has put something else before me. He says this right here, in their utter confusion. See, we still talking about the struggles. He's saying their utter confusion and disperse their mind to be blank. He's saying they utter confusion, that their minds will be blank. The past will seem to be unreal, and the present unintangible. And they will not be able to consult to each other, as everyone state will be the same. God is telling us something. You know, we are dealing in a world where they did not tell us when COVID-19 came, because they didn't even know what hit them. And then the people that's long haulers, they don't want us to continue to talk about it. They don't want us to talk about our struggles and how we struggle with COVID every day, the aftermath behind COVID. They don't want to hear that. And in some sites, particularly like Facebook, when you get to talking about COVID-19, they put you in the doghouse. God will never put you in the doghouse because you told the truth. The truth, as I always said, is a hard pill to swallow. It really is. It's really a very hard pill to swallow. The truth is very hard to swallow. And then I'm going to take you to another verse that God has brought me to. It says, Allah Revelations. God has many names. I choose to call him Yahweh. Some of you all choose to call him Allah. When I was Muslim, I called him Allah. When I was Christian, I called him Jehovah Jireh. And now I call him Yahweh because God has told me to call him Yahweh. That's why I call him Yahweh, because I asked him, what do you want me to call you? And he told me to call him Yahweh, and I've been calling him Yahweh ever since then. Okay, as we go into the Quran, it's saying this right here. It says, all Yahweh's revelations may have some human troubles for two reasons. For two reasons. Let's see what the two reasons are. It checks men and women's selfishness, narrow views. See, men and women have selfishness and they have narrow views. Two, it annoys the wicked and causes them to jitter and pursue. Now, these are mere incidental things due to man and woman's own shortcoming. And as far as the trouble is concerned, the revelation is meant to be given as a warning, so that the prosecutors may be reclaimed. And one of the causes of men and women of faith is comfort and consolation. Through that point does not arise in this text. Now, it says if things seem to be wrong or imperfect, because sometimes things seem to be wrong and imperfect in our lives, but they're not. It says here, things seem to be wrong and imperfect vision in this earth. We must remember that Yahweh, he encompasses all creation, and he sits on the throne of grace and mercy, and he commands our faith to tell us that all must be right. We must be right with God. In order to live a good Christian life, a good spiritual life. You must be right with God. Yahweh authority is like no authorities on this earth, which may be questioned. That's one thing you cannot do. You cannot question God's authority, which may not last, which man authorities on this earth will not last, but God authority is established firmly. So that's what we is talking about the struggles in life. We all go through struggles in life, different parts of life that we struggle with. Some of us struggle with addiction. Addiction is something, it's a pattern. What I have learned, a lot of things that we deal with is a pattern in life. And once you break that pattern, you can move on and do more things with your life. But you got to break the pattern. A pattern is not hard to break. You just got to stop going one way and go another way. That's just like God stepping into your life and you going this way and you think you're going the right way. And then all of a sudden, bam, Yahweh has made a whole U-turn. And that's what God does to us. He take us through trials and tribulations, not to make us weak, but to make us strong. And a lot of times we don't ask God, if we would take out the time to ask him, what should I do, Lord? Can you just give me a sign and let me know which way do you want me to go? And be patient about it. He will show you which way he wants you to go, because whichever way that path God put you on, you always going to have a roof over your head. You're always going to have food on your table. He's not going to put you on a path and don't take care of you. We serve a mighty God. And there are so many children out here that's lost. They lost out here in the world because the world has deceived them. And we have to help these children. I don't like the name that they give children, at-risk youth. We was all at risk at one time in our life. Why did they have to label the children? Why are you labeling them as at risk? You're already telling them that they are a problem. Just because you raised up in a drug-infested community don't mean that you're going to be on drugs. That don't mean that. You have to be strong when you live in a drug-infested community. You got to be strong with the word of God. Now, I'm going to read another verse out of this Bible. Okay, let's read Psalms 91. I always love Psalm 91. Now, Psalm 91 says this right here. He that dwells in a secret place in the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That means when you put your trust in God, he covers you with his wings. He protects you. Then it says right here, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge, my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely, yes, surely, he shall deliver thee from the snails of the fall and from the noisy peasants. That's the type of God that we serve. He's not going to let us fall. All praises to God. Then it says here, I will say unto the Lord. Okay, we said that one. Surely, no, not that one. It's verse 4. I'm sorry. He shall cover thee with his wings, and under his wings shall thy trust and truth. See, it's something about truth that keeps a marriage together, that keeps a relationship together. Because when you two people come together on truth, that's your foundation. You can go very far if you started on truth. You gotta be solid. And a lot of you young people out there, you need to find out who you are. Who are you with Christ? Be happy with the fact who he made you. He made you a certain way, but society has confused you to the point that you don't even know who you are anymore. Let's go back to this verse, because that really, it bothers me to know that when I was coming up and I was going to school, I got so upset, especially when I was in college. I got so upset because I was in this class and I had this book, a social studies book, And it said that I was not even human. That hurted me so much that I couldn't comprehend it, because I know that God made me and he made me in his image. So how are you going to tell me that I'm not even a human being? We have so much confusion, even in history books. Lies, lies. Even the young people are finding out lies, lies, lies. It's time to come out with the truth. Let these young people know who they are, how great they are. Let them know that they are scientists. They are geniuses. They can be anything they want to be if they put their mind to it. Stop letting society put labels on you. You're not a label. You have skills and talent that God has given you. He wants you to fly. He wants you to fly high. He wants you to fly beyond. You got your whole life ahead of you. You got your whole life ahead of you. Don't let bullies and people take advantage of your goodness. I know a lot of times that young people say, well, if I go to office and I snitch and I tell them, it's going to be worse for me. This is how you deal with bullies. Let me tell you. Go home and tell your parents. If you can't tell the teacher, you can't tell the principal, tell your parents. If your parents is anything like me, they're going to come up to the school and they're going to straighten this matter out. And if the school can't get it straightened out, you parents have power. You don't realize how much power you got in them schools. You got a lot of power. You can change things, but you're not coming together as God has instructed us to do, to come together and fight this battle to save our children. This is a battle to save souls. These young people have so much to offer this world. They don't need to be locked up in group homes. And then when they get out the group home, where do they go? What place do you have for them in place for them to go to when they apt out of the age of being there? Where do they go? You don't have nothing in place. Only thing I'm saying is that everybody just listen to this and you able to help these young people. I think that we need to have some group homes, more group homes. Give these kids a family lifestyle, a family lifestyle, and let them see how it feels to have a family that supports them. And that's what the group home will do. It will give them a family life that supports them. Make them ready for society. We don't have our kids ready. They need to be ready. And they need to know who they are and how far they have came from. Do you know how many people died? How many people died just for us to get where we at now? Do you know how Christ had to suffer? How he suffered for doing nothing wrong. He had to carry his own cross. But he did nothing wrong. And these young people that's going to school every day, you're not doing nothing wrong. You're just trying to go to school and you're trying to better yourself. But you got these darn bullies in these gangs. They're constantly harassing you, trying to get you to join. You're trying your best to walk past them. You're trying your best not to be involved in their activity. That's why we need these outlets. There's no outlets. Look at East Cleveland. Where's the recreational centers? Where's the tax base? There's no tax base. If you don't have a tax base, how can the city strive if you don't have a tax base? We don't never ask these questions. God is telling us we need to check these people that's in power. Because the people that's in power is not doing what they said they was going to do. We get them in office and they do nothing. Let's go back to the Bible. I'm going to go back to the Bible. God has sent me someplace else, okay? This is where he sent me. I'm in Acts 32. it says, God has fulfilled the same unto us, their children, and that he has risen up Jesus Christ. And is also written in the second Psalms, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. He's talking about Christ. God has done so much for us. He gave us his only begotten son, that if we would believe in him, we would be saved. Stop the madness. Start trusting God. God has put everything down here that we need to heal our bodies with. And I know that this sermon is supposed to be a sermon about struggle, but this is about struggle. How many people out there is overweight? How many times have you struggled to try to take the weight off only to gain it right back? How many people out there that struggle with addiction? And you can't walk away because the first of the month they're looking for you to take your check. We're not trusting God. You know, he gave us his word. This is his word. He gave us his word to stand on. And we're not standing on truth. Because if we're standing on truth, we wouldn't have these problems. We're going to have ups and downs. A lot of people is upset with God. Only thing I can do is just pray. You know, we all fall short. Me, myself, fall short. But I try my best to do what God wants me to do. My whole motto is to do all the good I can do in one day. I don't look at tomorrow. I just look at the good that I can do for today. And like I was telling you, I'm going to tell you a little story, you know, before I come off the air. This story is about this man. I like to tell stories, as you know. And this man, he was cutting himself. You know, he was just cutting himself and cutting himself. First, he was in the city. He was doing all kind of stuff in the city. And the city people had to get this man out of the city because he was doing everything up under the sun. So they chased him out the city and they got him in this cave and they tied him down with chains and everything, okay? And this man was tied down, howling out, and he's cutting himself, you know, with the glass. He just cutting himself and he had chains on him. So one day Jesus was coming past the cave and the demon heard him because, you know, this man had more than one demon in him. He had legions of demons in him, okay? And this is about struggle. This man had to struggle with all these legions in him. He struggled a lifetime with all these legions in him, all these demons in him. Jesus walked past and said, come out of him. And the demon answered Jesus saying, what do you want to do with us? What did we do? Why are you bothering us? Just leave us alone and go on about your business. And Jesus said it again. He said, I said, come out of him. And then the demon wanted to negotiate with Christ. He's saying, okay, if we come out of him, can we go in them pigs over there? Jesus said it for the last time. He said, come out of him. They came out. And they start going to the pigs on the hill. That's what the demons would. So they went into the pigs to show you how smart these pigs was. The pigs say, well, before we let these demons just take over us, we'll commit suicide. Do you know that those pigs ran off the cliff before they would let those demons take over them? When the man had came to himself again, he was in his right mind. You know, this story just reminded me of somebody that I know that was not in their right mind when I seen them in the hospital. They was not in their right mind. I could tell you one thing. When I went back to see him again, they was in their right mind. So I can see what the man was going through when the people in the town was seeing this man. And they know this man was crazy, but this man is in his right mind and he's walking with Christ. So when you walk with Christ, he heals you. That's what he does. When you walk with him, his word heals you. What God has done with me, he can do with you. Yahweh put his word inside of my mouth and just shut it up. So when I speak God's word. I don't speak my words, I speak God's word. And it makes me feel good inside knowing that God's word is still healing people. I pray with people all the time. If you ask for a prayer, I don't care where I'm at. I could be in a store and you see me in a store and you ask me to pray for you. We're going to stop right then and there. We're going to pray. I don't seen it happen too many times. A long time ago, I was in the Dollar General store and we was all in line. And this young girl that was on the register, I will never forget her. I can't forget her if I wanted to. I had just got myself up to her and she just broke down and cried. It touched me. She broke down and cried. She told me that her and her husband was losing everything and that she was the sole breadwinner of that family. And she was young and she was pregnant. And I just stopped everything. And I asked God, I asked everybody in line just to get out of line and just let us pray for this woman. And we prayed for her. And when I seen her again, all praises to God, she had got a good job working at Progressive. And I have never forgot how we all stood in line and prayed for her. God answers prayer. I just want you to know that He does. I have seen this happen too many times. Too many times. I have been out there in Dave's parking lot, holding people's hands, praying for people. And I don't see God work a lot of miracles on people. So what I'm saying is that when you trust God, you got to trust Him all the way. You can't half step with God. If you in, you got to be in 100%. And God helping people and healing people, and me seeing this with my own eyes. I'm a living testimony myself. But I know God is in the healing business. And I just wanted just to take our time. I didn't mean to get emotional with you, but when God touches people's lives, it touches minds. So I want to thank you very much for taking out the time to hear my message. I hope that this message helps somebody. Young people, remember to meet me at the library in East Cleveland, October the 7th. I will be there looking for you. And I will be there the week, next week, passing out flyers to the young people in East Cleveland. So you will see me at Windermere Station. I will be passing out those flyers and I will be passing them out near Shore High School. So I hope that some of you can come and join me and we can get some things done and have a play, have an event on the 31st or of Halloween that we could put together an event and have a nice event and have a costume party. I just want to do things, displeasing to God. And my mission out here that God has put me on, it's about saving His people, especially the youth. So thank you so much. And you all have a blessed day. Thank you.